You've been judging here over the past few days. Can you explain shortly how the process went?
Right. Actually, we started the process a good few weeks before we got here. So all the judges received about half of the entries each to go through in depth. So we each received a big folder of stuff to go through. So spent a good couple of weeks reading those back home before we got here. And then we had a big folder of cases, and we went through them one by one and got it down to shortlist, Lions and Grand Prix. It's hard work.
You chose X as a Grand Prix. Can you explain why? What was good about that case?
I mean, these are effectiveness awards. So the task for anybody is demonstrate that the work worked. It is as simple and as challenging as that, and demonstrate that it was the work that contributed to the business, as we discussed in the press room there, and not all the other factors in the marketing mix. So it convinced us that idea and that work is what made the difference.
And what's the difference between an Effie and a Creative Effectiveness Award? Because, well, I think people won't see the difference.
That's a good question. I mean, the structure of the Effies is different. So, as David said, in order to have a chance at winning the Cannes Effectiveness Lions, the requirement is that you were at least shortlisted in the previous year creatively. If you are shortlisted and above or more, then you have the opportunity to submit for an effectiveness line. And that's, for me, that's really, I think for all of us, that's really important, because it means that in the previous year, the creative community judged that work to be good.
Yeah.
Now we're holding that work accountable and saying, well, it was deemed by the creative community to be creative, but did it really work? And that's the key difference. One of the key differences between the Effies and the Cannes Effectiveness Lions. I'd also say that the Cannes Effectiveness Lions, this is the second year they've been running. They are very, very hard to win. They're very rigorous. The requirement of rigorous data analysis and persuasive case building, they're tough, and they should be tough. This isn't just, hey, submit an ad, a couple of PowerPoint graphs and you can cross your fingers. There are a lot of work to prepare.
And well, if Dutch agencies want to win a Creative Effectiveness Award, do you have any tips?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess for me, effectiveness is not something that you worry about after you've run the work. For me, effectiveness is an input into strategy and creativity. You should be thinking about effectiveness before you make any advertising. You shouldn't be thinking of it just because you want to win an effectiveness. So I'm hoping that people, so my advice is set clear objectives, have good strategy, have great insight, deliver great work. Don't try and build it in hindsight retrospectively. But gosh, if you want to win, do your job.
Oh, that's a really good advice. Thank you.